This year was seriously a success. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife and today I am taking you through how my series intentions went in 2022. At the start of last year, I put together a couple of series that I wanted to either start or finish or make a little bit more progress with over 2022. So let's take a look at how that actually ended up going. First up is one of my absolute favourite series across the entire year, and that is the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. I read all 4 of them in one fell swoop. I think just after the show started on Netflix, I got so enthralled in the story. I got so enthralled in this gorgeous relationship between Nick and Charlie that I could not stop reading them. I picked up the first 2 and I just went straight from there. I just binge read the entire thing in maybe about 2 days. I already have a physical copy of the first one. I got this as a gift from Victoria from what Victoria read for my birthday last year. I have the second and I have the fourth, but I am missing the third one as part of my physical collection. So as soon as I have gotten that, and when the 5th one comes out and I pick up a copy of that, I've got the entire series finished. Next up was Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan, and I did read the first one already before 2022, so this was a series continuation rather than a new start. And I read the second book. I haven't gotten to the third one yet, but I do have a physical copy of it waiting on my shelf for me to get to potentially this year. But I absolutely loved the first book. I don't think I loved the second as much as I was expecting to or hoping to, but I've heard a couple of people say that the third one was their favourite. I have a couple of friends who told me that the third one was their favourite one. So let's see how I get along with it. The next series was the When Diplomat Rishi series by Sandia Menon, and unfortunately I have decided to lay this series completely to the side. The main reason for that is that it is a YA series, and over the last couple of years I've been kind of driving myself away from YA reading, from YA books. I'm not picking them up as much or as often anymore. So I know that these aren't stories that are going to engross me. These aren't stories where I'm going to find parts of myself dotted along the pages. I had got 2 copies of There's Something About Sweetie and From Twinkle with Love, but I actually donated them to my library at the end of 2022 because I just knew that this wasn't a series I was going to go back to anytime soon. The next series up is the Modern Dating series by Alicia Rai, and I did read the first one. I read the audiobook of The Right Swipe around February time, and I think I'm going to go back to the second 2 of the series. I've definitely got Girl Got Viral on my Kindle, and I have got a copy of I think First Comes Like on Scribd that I can just listen to when I'm looking for a pick-me-up. I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed the Desi representation, the Southern Indian, the Indian representation. I also really loved that it was set among the tech world and that there were women working in tech and working in STEM in this book. I think this is more of a companion series book than an actual series where you follow the same characters. And that's something that I really love. I love watching different characters who are in the same world all interacting with each other in different ways and having different importances in their life. So it's definitely one I'm going to try and pick up again. Next up was The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory, and unfortunately my first impression of this series was not a very good one. And it did put me off picking up the rest of the series over the year, to the point that I'm not entirely sure whether I'm going to go back to it or not. I have heard that the series does pick up a little bit over the coming books. I have heard that it gets a little bit stronger, the character development is a little bit richer. But something that I really didn't enjoy about this one was the importance that was based on food, which is something that kind of surprised me because I love when there's food mentioned in books or shown in books or it's a big part of a book. But this time it felt a little bit too overdone. There was huge instances of miscommunication between the 2 characters, and that is something that doesn't sit well with me. I really don't like when characters should just sit down and have a conversation with each other but just ignore all of the signs to do that. So I might go into the rest of the series with a little bit of caution, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. Next up was Bridgeton by Julia Quinn, and I read the first book and absolutely did not enjoy the last maybe 25% of the book. As you get to about 75% of the book, there is a marital rape scene that completely turned me off the book. Any enjoyment that I was having of it up to there went immediately out the window. It's a series that I know I'm not going to go back to. If I want to interact with it in any way, I can just watch the Netflix show. I haven't even sat down to watch the Netflix show yet, which is kind of indicating how little I was enjoying the book or how little I was enjoying the series. It's definitely not a series I'm going to go back to. Next up was The Marriage Game by Sarah Desai, and again, my first instance of this book was not the most enjoyable one, but I've heard that it gets better as you go through the series. In the first book, I found the male main character, Sam, such a turn-off. He was cocky, he was arrogant, he was overconfident, and there was something that happened about 60-65% of the way into the book that just completely threw their relationship into the bin for me. If that had happened in real life, if that had happened to a friend of mine, it was a relationship that I would absolutely put a stopper on immediately. So I found it really hard to root for the characters. I really found it hard to root for their relationship to develop. And when you have got that kind of thing in a romance book where the main idea is that you want the couple to get together, it does kind of put you off a little bit. Again, I've heard that the dating plan and the singles table are a little bit better. They're a little bit more thought out. They don't have as awful a main character in these books. So I might give them a try. Let's see how I would get on with them. But as of right now, it's not really a priority. Next up is Well Met by Metal Luca. And again, I think this is one that I'm going to lay to the side. I just found this book a little bit of a slog to get through. I don't know if it was because I was going through some sort of a reading slump. I don't know if it was because the book didn't work for me or the writing or the characters. But either way, there just wasn't anything about this book that I felt like I had to reach for it. I had to go for it immediately. So I think it's one that if I do want to get to it, again, library or an audiobook or something like that. But as of right now, it's just not a priority. Then there was a series that I did not even attempt to start. I know that I have got the second book of the series at my parents' house. I don't have a copy of the first one, and I think that that's why I didn't get to it. But I did not start at all on Martha Waters' To Have and to Hope series. I know that this is like a historical romance, and I'm not a huge historical romance reader. I did try and dip my toes into the genre a little bit more in 2022, and that had got mixed results. So maybe I'm just a little bit more of a contemporary girly, which is fine. Everybody has their different tastes. So I don't know if this is one that is definitely going to be for me. Last up is a duology. As of now, I believe that I have completely finished, and that is the Dial A for Auntie series by Jessie Cute Sutanto. I thought this book was so funny. The first one was absolutely hilarious. There's such a wonderful family vibe between Medi and her 4 aunts and her mother. But then I felt like the second one fell a little tiny bit flat. I think maybe I just read them a little bit too quickly in sync with each other. So maybe I needed to give it a little bit more breathing space so that I could enjoy this and take my time with the second one and get back into their world again. If there's a third book that comes out in the series, I'm definitely going to read it, but as of now, I have got what has been published finished. Those are all of the book series that I either started or attempted to finish in 2022. Varying levels of success, but we did our best with it. What series was the best one that you read in 2022? Or is there a series that you think I should keep my eye on for 2023? If you'd like to leave me a comment but you can't think of anything that you would like to say, then just leave me the link emoji. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.